Home Sweet Home Cooking. I am Rocky, your host in my mother's kitchen. My mother is going to be joining me today. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
What are we making today, Mom?
Stollen.
I've never made Stollen before, but I've eaten plenty of hers. This is a Christmassy fruit kind of bread, not a fruit cake. It's a bread with the same kind of fruit cake fruits in it, but it's very delicious. So we've got on the stove, which is ready.
It's ready.
Okay, it is ready. It is 1/2 cup of milk. I'm sorry, 1.5 cups of milk, 1/2 cup of water, and 1/2 cup of margarine. And it's brought to what temperature?
120, 130.
120 to 130 degrees, somewhere in there. What we have here is
7.5 cups of flour.
7.5 cups of flour. And you said add half of this to the mixing bowl.
2 or 3 cups.
Okay.
I mean, when you make bread, it's not rocket science.
It's not rocket surgery.
It's brain surgery. Okay.
All right. What's next?
1/2 cup of sugar.
1/2 cup of sugar.
And 2 teaspoons of salt.
2 teaspoons of salt.
And 2 packages of yeast.
You can use the active dry, but it's going to take a longer rise. My mom says that she's been using the instant rise yeast, so we got 2 packets of
It's rapid rise.
rapid rise, instant rise, whatever you want to call it. Rapid rise, instant yeast, I guess technically, is going to go in. So in goes the liquid. And low speed to mix it for a while. You said let it mix how long?
Well, you gotta put the eggs in. But
Okay. 2 eggs. Yeah, let's get that out of the way. This won't crack funny. How long have you been making this Stollen?
oh my goodness.
Years.
I don't know. Probably 30, 40 years at least.
Yeah. She made 72 of these in 1 year. She gives them away. Now this is not. We don't think this is actually our family's recipe. She thinks this might have come off the Fleischmann yeast packet years ago. But this is a very old German style recipe. I did get a cookbook from my dad's side of the family that has Stollen in it, but my great-great-great-grandfather's no longer alive to teach me how to do this, so we're using this other one.
So he's using this, Grandma.
Yes.
About 2 minutes, and it'll be all mixed up good. Okay, now you start throwing flour in.
A little at a time?
It's like 7, yeah, a little bit at a time. Like 7 to 7.5 cups. And don't make it snow.
Yeah, this is a single batch in a mixer, not a double. Don't try a double.
Or get a bigger bowl and a heavier mixer. Now you might not need all of that. You have to decide, you know, how sticky it is.
Basically, when the dough pulls off the side of the bowl, it's enough flour. Yep, time to switch to the dough hook. What are they looking for? How do they know the dough is done kneading?
To me, it's done.
But how do they know? I mean, yes, yours is done, but how do they know that it's done? What characteristics are you looking for in the dough?
I don't know.
I would say when it comes together and forms a cohesive ball. I am going to need this a few times on the countertop, I think. Basically kneading, you're just kind of rolling it, folding it in upon itself. Kind of working that dough. What you want to do is that you're letting the glutens stretch out. Shaggy's out of here. I shouldn't put that in there. Make shaggy pieces in the bread. I can feel bouncing back upon itself, so I know that it's pretty well where it needs to be. It's all uniform and it's just that tacky on the outside. That's what I go for when I make other breads.
Yeah, if it's too sticky, it's going to stick to your hands, and that means you need more flour.
Yeah. All right. The next step, I would just roll it into a ball like this.
You have to knead that in next.
Oh, before the rise?
Of course.
Oh, okay. So I guess flatten it out. And what is in there?
A cup of raisins, 2/3 of a cup. We're using
3/4 of a cup of dates.
Okay. Or the mixed candied fruit, but we couldn't find it yet.
Yeah, we're actually doing two versions. You'll see the other one as well. This version is the one that I want. I didn't want the fruitcake fruit in mine.
Candied fruit.
Yeah, the other version you'll see is going to be the candied fruit, raisins, and slivered almonds.
Right.
This is dates, raisins, cup of raisins, 3/4 cups of chopped dates, pitted of course, and a 1/2 cup of walnuts, because I like that combination.
And we were going to have golden raisins, but his girlfriend took them to work with her.
Yeah. We had some at the house, but nowhere's near enough to do a recipe of anything. So I'm going to fold some in there.
I used to get up at like 6 in the morning to make a dozen of them in a day, and then I'd get them done just before I had to go to work at night.
My friend Jay Saban, he'd come up to go deer hunting with us, and she'd have a lot of these done deer hunting season, well, Thanksgiving time, because she'll freeze them and then give them away at Christmas time. And he and I will go through a loaf of this in a few hours by ourselves.
A few hours? Less than an hour.
Less than an hour, by ourselves. Alright, so now as I'm kneading it in, just working the dough into the fruit, and I'm kind of trying to keep it into that ball shape. And when you get to this ball shape, what you're doing is you're kind of taking everything to the bottom, and that's where your seam is going to be. And then you can put it in a greased bowl, right?
Right.
With oil in it. And seam down.
Now, twist it, turn the grease side up.
Twist it and turn the grease side up. Basically, you want the whole dough ball coated with grease so it doesn't stick to the bowl, right?
Okay, cover it up and let it rise for 10 minutes.
If you're using the rapid rise.
Right.
Hour to hour and a half if you're using the normal. Doubled in size. Well, according to my mother, it's not supposed to double in size. So we're using the rapid rise, so it's been a little over 10 minutes, almost 15. And it's time to divide this up into 3 roughly equal pieces. Oven is preheated.
Are you ready?
Just about 340 degrees.
And that can depend on your oven too.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 350, but
Yeah, her recipe originally said 350, then it said 325, now it says 340. So apparently, going from place to place, moving, it changed. So now we're going to roll this out into an oblong shape, right?
right.
Okay.
Why don't you flour your rolling in?
It's not sticking. Kind of like that.
Yep.
Bigger, smaller?
However you want 'em. Just make sure they're going to fit on there.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. I've never done this before, so. Alright, so my pan is. That's bigger than my pan. But it's going to get folded into thirds?
Half.
Just half. And then it gets laid on the pan. and do that 2 more times. All 3 of them are laid out. The other ones I left a little bit short because this one's a little bit long, so I can give them a little bit of a pull here. Alright, and now what?
Now it has to rise for 3/4 of an hour to an hour till it's double in size.
Now it doubles in size.
And what I do is I turn the oven on just to get some heat in there. Then I turn the light on, throw them in, and let them go.
Alright, so back in 3/4 of an hour. Show you what they look like when they're risen, and then get them in the oven. So they have doubled in size. Now it's time to go in the oven. It says 25 minutes for the 340, but like my mom said, it's going to depend on your oven, so I'll just check it at 25 and go from there. Might go a little bit longer. They are out of the oven. Got a nice golden brown to them. Not burnt on the bottom. Yay! Look really good. Smells delicious in here. There's 2 types of frosting or coating to do on these. The ones that we put the fruit in are going to get a frosting, but my walnut and date ones I'm doing a little bit different. I've got about 2 tablespoons of honey just stirred into 1 tablespoon of margarine. I'm just going to give them a brush to get them just slightly sticky, slightly moist. And what I'm going to do is just take some powdered sugar into a sieve. Just coat them with a little powdered sugar. And this powdered sugar is going to dissolve into the butter and the honey and give it a nice little sweet glaze to it. Alright, we are set up to do a close-up on mixing the fruit in. So the dough has rested for 10 minutes for the first rise. Spread a little bit of flour out on your work surface. And you're just going to dump the dough out. Just give it a little press down, get a little flour on both sides, and you're going to work it out. Now this time is the fruit instead of the walnuts, so we've got 1 cup of raisins, 3/4 cups of the mixed candied fruit, and a 1/2 cup of slivered almonds. This is what the recipe traditionally calls for. I'm going to take about 1/3 of it, going to spread it out. And what I had found is the easiest for me, I'm just going to fold it in half, kind of give it a mush, fold the ends up in, and then kind of do the same thing. Roll it, shape it out to that oblong shape again. I'm going to do another 1/3 of the fruit. Give it a press in, give it a roll over, get that fruit to the middle, fold the corners in, the edges in, and just start working it back into a ball again, and just knead it, twist it, and work that fruit in. And then for the last one, your last bit of fruit, and one more time, get the fruit folded in, fold the corners up. If you don't fold the corners up, all the fruit tends to stay in the middle and you don't have any fruit on the end of your bread. So that's very important. Give it a few good rolls. And now I kind of roll it into a log. And I look for about 1/3. And about the only time you can say this and get away with it, you pinch a loaf. And move the 1/3 to the side. Put just a little bit of flour in my work area. Take a little bit of flour onto the rolling pin. Yeah, sometimes it's easier just to press it out to start with. I'm going to try to go for a rectangular shape. being extra sticky. And once you get it rolled out to that shape, just wide enough to go across your cookie sheet, or your sheet pan, whatever you're going to cook it on. You're just going to take it, fold it in half like that, put that in your pan, and get 3 across the pan, and that's when you put it a grease pan. Let it rise, cover it with a towel, let it rise in a warm place, and let it rise until it's doubled in size, and then you can bake it 340 degrees. About 25 minutes. The last one we did was a little bit longer than that, but that's a close-up of the fruit going in. So we've already showed you the powdered sugar with the honey butter. Now it's going to be frosting them. So we've got a loaf. Just, you don't let it cool down as much as you can. It's a little bit warm yet. And you want to have your frosting made. This is just milk, powdered sugar, and vanilla. And you can make it as thin as you want or as thick as you want. Ma, can you turn that other light on, please? Try to get a little more light on this. That's a little better. You don't want it to run completely off, because you're going to be wrapping these and saving them for later. But it shouldn't be thick like frosting, like cake frosting. And once you get the frosting on, you can let it set up until it gets a little bit firm before you wrap it up all the way. Isn't that right, Mother?
That's right.
That's what she told me. I didn't want to make sure I wasn't lying.
I like the thicker frosting because then it doesn't run down the side so fast.
Exactly. And it sets up a little bit faster, I think. So that's one. A little bit on this side. It looks like it didn't quite cover the side. Yeah, so that would be the frosted kind. I'm going to go ahead and frost a few more, let these set up, and then we will do a taste test. Our favorite time of the video, folks. It's taste test time. Now this is one of the fruit ones. I might have been able to leave this bake a little bit longer. It feels a little soft, but it will be fine. But you can see how the fruit comes. It's not a fruit cake, it's fruit bread. And you can see how it's throughout the bread. So pull the camera back, get some butter on here, and have a taste. Now we've already tasted the walnut. We both like the walnut. This is, she says, her favorite, but I don't know. It's still fantastic.
So why do we only make this once a year?
It's a little bit of work. But the fruit, I think, makes this one Christmassy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why my walnut one can be any time of the year.
So this, except you can't buy the fruit. Even now we couldn't find it.
Yeah, it's a hard time finding the candied fruit sometimes. But it's worth it if you can find it. Worth hunting around for it. This one probably could bake for a few more minutes. But it's nice and soft. And warm yet. Glass of milk, cup of coffee, cup of hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate.
Yeah. Chocolate shake.
Strawberry.
Eggnog.
Strawberry.
Yeah. I mean, anything, you know, it's very rich. It's very sweet because of the frosting. That's kind of why I like my the powdered sugar version. This one here does tend to get a little bit sweet for me. But I like it. I really do. Now we did the walnut ones on Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is Saturday, and I've already eaten 2 loaves. Half a loaf a day, basically. It's that good. I have it for breakfast. I just throw some butter on it, give me 3 pieces like that, and that's my breakfast. I have a piece or 2 for dessert. That's delicious. Anyways, folks, give it a try. If you have any other fruit breads, not fruit cakes, or anything along this line, this coffee cake kind of dessert bread, please share them. I love these kind of breads. The rhubarb bread is more of a cake. It's a quick bread, but this is a true risen bread, and I like this one for Christmas, or really for any time, because you can use it with you know, for a breakfast or alongside of a breakfast with your bacon and eggs, and have a piece of this.
Now, if it would ever get stale in your house because you don't eat it like he does, if you scrape off the frosting, put it in your toaster, that's really good. And up north, the Native Americans decided to fry it. So you butter, well, I'd still take off the frosting, butter both sides and fry both sides. And that ain't bad either.
So there's plenty of ways to eat it, plenty of times to eat it. It doesn't have to be just for Christmas, it can be anytime. So thank you for watching, folks. And this video should be just enough time for us to say Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.